Send it over to the sunny part of the studio right now. Marlene the plant lady with Miss Tina Makua. Hey.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, Marlene. You got a photographer there?
I do, also known as my husband, Joe. So, yeah.
Hi, Joe. Hi, Joe. Okay, we also talked about just a little while ago how there'll be frost early on this weekend, here tonight and tomorrow. So we got to cover our plants?
Yeah, if they're sensitive to frost, remember that's going to be your bougainvilleas, some of your citrus, your plumeria should be moved inside. If you have avocados, some of your succulents. It is good to, if you can't bring them close to the patio, or even then, if they're super sensitive, cover them. And you never want to cover with plastic. You could do cotton sheets or a plant blanket. And if you have a pot, make sure you tuck it under the pot. You don't want any lollipops that are just up top. You want the whole entire thing to be covered. And you can even use like the old holiday lights, the C9s and C7s, but not LEDs, and wrap those around as well because they produce heat. And succulent should be less watered in. Leafy plants should be well watered in going into a frost.
Got it. Got it. Okay, we're talking about pruning today. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the start of the pruning season. You don't want to prune your citrus or not until spring, and you don't want to prune your stone crops until a little bit later. But this goes for everything you need to prune, and I want people to start thinking about it. I want to talk about two major pruning cuts, right? This is sort of a generic. There is a heading cut and there is a thinning cut. I personally prefer more thinning cuts. When you prune, you do a combination. Now, what I mean by a heading cut is what you do when you pinch a plant back to get it bushier. And a lot of people make the mistake of trying to drop the height of their plant by doing heading cuts. It's just going to sort of make it bush out more. So a heading cut is when you prune back to a set of leaves or a leaf on the existing branch.
Okay.
Like that. Or you always want to prune back to a node. A node is where growth happens, because that is going to control where your plant's going to grow. Never prune just randomly in the middle of a branch.
So that's a heading cut.
That is a heading cut.
Okay.
You could do some for sure. But a lot of times when you're pruning fruit trees, or you're trying to thin out the center of a plant, or to even make it shorter, if you do more thinning cuts, which is if I were to take the same branch and move it all the way back to another existing branch. That is a thinning cut. Now, what I would do like this, I know this is a sad hibiscus. I'm using this because it's pretty sparse and you can see. See this branch here growing inward?
Yeah.
I would do a thinning cut right against there.
Okay.
Right? We do a thinning cut here. Sorry, I'm making Joe move around a whole bunch. I told him I wasn't going to. Oops. But say you have a plant that you want to make bushier, say a begonia or your coleus. You could just do little heading cuts, and because then it's going to direct the hormones to push out growth there.
Got it.
But just getting rid of your stone crops, think about the type of pruning and think about doing more thinning cuts versus heading cuts. Always have a sharp pair of pruners, which I don't. Always cut to a node or back to another branch. No just random cuts in the center. Okay. And you can prune it if there is some chance of rain coming, because then the water will come right off. But remember, also wait for a dry spell, so you're not pruning and have open wounds right when rain's coming. So those are just some tips on pruning. I'll be able to do some more as we get closer to pruning, but I just want people. There you go.
All right, thanks, Joe, and thank you too. All right, follow her, Marlene the Plant Lady, on all social media and Flower Power Garden Hour, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. There you go.